It's the final between Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. So Federer lost the match and then Nadal won it. But then while taking the trophy, while lifting the trophy, a few visuals were shown in which the text was embossed, which is, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat both the imposters the same. So at that point of time, I never knew the actual meaning of it. I knew the literary meaning of it, but then I didn't know the actual spiritual meaning of it. So cut back to my childhood, I was born in Gudiwada. It's just close by to Vijayawada, and then I grew up in Kurnool district, Nandyal. So I used to, while going to school, I always used to wait for the weekend, because weekend was the time I got the opportunity to watch a film in a theatre. So my father was very particular to take me to a film. So whenever I used to go to a film, I used to travel into a different world. So that experience of watching a film made me wait all the week for the weekend. So that was something really good. And one person who was sitting beside me at one point while watching a film, he just randomly told me, two people are really good, really great according to my knowledge. I asked him who are those two. Then he said God, and the second one is a film director. I didn't understand the meaning. So I asked him how. So God created the world, and then a film director can create a virtual world. So that's when I the seed of becoming a film director, I don't know, or the attraction towards film started for me. So I always watched films, and then post schooling I was put at a residential hostel which is in Nellore. So I never got the opportunity to watch films. They never gave outing, because my father asked me in 8th standard, what do you want to become? So I didn't have the answer. So through the flow, I was put in an ID training institute, AEEE, and all the VIT, everything. So I went with the flow. But then those were really boring for me. So I always am like the last benchers out there. I don't like the routines. So every last bencher, he's a creative guy. He doesn't like the routine. He or she doesn't want to, get into the flow of things. So every last bencher is a guy to watch out for. If the creativity in him comes out, he or she can become something really revolutionary. So when I was not given the opportunity to go out to watch films, so what I have done was I picked a time, and then I woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning, me and a couple of other friends. So we jumped the compound wall, and then we went out to watch films. So we watched films like Pokeri, Ashok, and then few other big hits like Vikramarkudu without taking any official permissions. So back into the hostel, we were thrashed, and then penalty was given to us, and we were punished. So that phase made me, is it audible? Yeah. That phase was pretty much hardened me. The desire in me to watch films even more got stronger. That's because the resistance was put against it. So and then during the intermediate stage, the brochure of VIT was shown to us by a senior, and then I took up the brochure, and the brochure was pretty attractive. It had very high class hostels, and then very good technology, and then it had the best faculty and everything. So the dream to study at VIT, that I got fixed upon, and then I wrote the VIT entrance examination. I qualified for it, but then I wanted to be different. I chose a new course that was called 5-year integrated MBA, which is a mix of BBA plus MBA. So I took it up, and then I fell into the routine again. But then watching films was a constant. So that I think in 2009, I think the digital revolution has begun. So there was a guy called Sairam. He's an NRI. He was an NRI, and then he purchased a very new digital camera. So watching films back to back, if you like something excessively, you get an analytical edge over something. So when I watched films, I felt this should have been something else. This could be even better. So that understanding made me, get an idea. Why can't I make a small video? Let's start making a small thing. And we started making films in VIT, short films. So there was a drama club, and then there was a film club. But then, it's not easy to get enrolled in that back then. And then it was controlled by a few people. So I couldn't get the support. So again, we woke up around 4, 5 a.m. in the morning. We chose few people who are literally, crazy for films as actors, and then we started making short films. So first short film, we couldn't even complete it. So it was due to budget constraints, and then due to lack of planning, and then due to non-cooperation from everybody involved, we couldn't finish it. So in 8th standard, I met a guy called Tarun. He's my good friend. So he used to study in IIT Madras. So he used to come to VIT during weekends, and then we planned something even better. And then we started making short films. We made more than 10 films, 10 short films back then. So in 2009, there was a friend of mine who knew this director called Puri Jagannath sir. He's a very famous guy. So renowned guy, very critically acclaimed director. So suddenly when I entered into the classroom, she made a call, and then she gave the phone to me and asked me to talk. So I said hello, and then I could recognize the voice. It's Puri sir. So then I said, sir, I'm a big fan of yours. I'll be coming to Hyderabad. I would be really pleased if I get the opportunity to meet you. So sir said, yes, you can. Let me know. Just let me know when you're coming. So the very next day, I flew to Hyderabad, and then I met him. That's the major plot point in the story. So I told him, sir, it's really, I'm really happy, and it's an opportunity to meet you. Then he asked me, are you interested in acting, or what are you interested in exactly? Sir, I said direction. So youngsters like you are actually inclined towards acting, because you have age and you have the fairness, etc. I thought you must be interested in acting. No, sir, I'm interested in direction only. So that's what I told him. Then, what is the plan, he asked me. Sir, as of now, I don't have a plan. So tell me what exactly is in your mind. Sir, I was thinking there is a digital camera which is at my immediate availability. So I was thinking I could make some videos, and then I could eventually join in your team after my course is completed. So then sir said, you need not join under me. I think you have the communication, you have the gut feeling to become a director. So you start making short films and put them as demos, and eventually you can become a director maybe, if everything permits you. And decide upon one thing. If you are entering into film industry, be ready for the struggle. Don't think it's a, very easy path, or it's a red carpet. So be ready for the struggle is what he told me. So back to VIT, we are more planned right now, and we eventually started making films. And in the 5th year of post-graduation, the final year, so there was a campus placement. A bank called ING has come, and they've recruited, and fortunately I got selected, and I've got the posting in Hyderabad. So while the mind and life, they ask you to do the job, to be financially stable, to choose a secured career, my heart was always towards films. So there was a very deep dissatisfaction down there. So I took an educational loan basically to study at VIT. So I had to clear it off. So I had to work for a year. And after a year, I called my mother and father. They were sitting in the sofa in the hall, in the living room. And then I told them in a very subtle way, I want to resign this job today. So they know that I want to become film director. But then they asked me only one question. So what is the plan? Then I said, there's a long-term plan which might not be specific, but I'm sure it will work. But if you ask for short-term results, I'm not sure. So my father, we used to be a very middle-class family, and then my father's job was also in a little, tough stage. So, but he had the courage, and he had the love towards me to ask me to pursue my dreams. So that's when I understood his intent of letting me do what I want to do, the stakes are even more raised. I'm more serious at what I'm doing. I've become more serious at what I'm doing. So there was a more specific long-term plan. So we as a team, we have become more serious on work, and then we have started talking to mainstream cinema actors for collaborations, and then we made a short film that helped us put it like a demo. So meanwhile, also made some courses, professional courses, because when you meet producers, they need to have the belief in you to invest crores of rupees. So meanwhile, I've also done those courses, and I also had a demo in hand, and I started pitching the stories which were written to actors. So this is the major conflict. Getting into the path you want is the first conflict, and after entering, things will not work. That's a hard reality. If you want, the theme of today's event is embracing the failure. So I'm not going to keep it sugar coated. Keeping it in a realistic way, when you want to pursue your dreams, if you want to become a cricketer, or if you want to become a director, if you want to become an actor, getting into the path is the biggest thing. And once you've gotten into the path, things become even more tough. So how do you manage it? How do you cope up with it? Only two things will make you cope up with it: your love for the art, your love for the craft, and perseverance. So perseverance is different from patience. Patience is, it's like just waiting to let it go, whereas perseverance is having the belief that someday it will work. So I started pitching to mainstream heroes. Couple of scripts got greenlit. They were very impressed, but then they asked for a few changes. But the actor's current running film released, and it was a flop. So it had some father conflict, and the story which I pitched to them also has a father emotion. So the actor doesn't want to do themes on father anymore. So that got stopped. So I went back, and then every day I used to have coffee for relief. So that day I just wanted to do things in a different way. So why not tea instead of coffee? So as for tea, I had tea for the first time on that day, and it was a good relief because my mind got completely relaxed. So then I searched on Google what exactly is the history of tea. So it has a 5,000-year history. So then I thought, why can't some story be woven around this? And then I made more research. There are people who have become very successful basing on very small products. So I thought a protagonist's journey on this can be very interesting, and eventually I have written a story. We have written a story, and then we had to list down the options. So I just asked one question to my dear friend Tarun: who are the biggest stars in India? Biggest female stars. One was Alia Bhatt and two was Nayanthara back then. So let's go pitch it to them. That was a very crazy thing to say, but somehow after all the struggle, we were able to narrate it to both of them. And Alia Bhatt's dates were not immediately available. So, but lady superstar Miss Nayanthara has greenlit the project back then, but the dates were not matching because of the producer's current running projects. The dates were not matching. So even though I was successful at getting the nod, I was a failure at getting the film immediately getting started. So we had to come back to the drawing board again, and then we have put even more options on the board. We had very big actors like Sai Pallavi Garu, Tamanna ma'am, and then Kajal Agarwal, and then there are a few other actors whom we pitched for. Everybody said yes, but something was not fitting the bill. And then somehow this film called Mahanati got released, and Kirti has become a huge sensation. And immediate attention and goal was to meet Kirti and then narrate the story. So we have made a lot of research, we have put a lot of efforts, and eventually met Kirti, and we have narrated her in a span of 6 months. She has said yes. Eventually this film happened, Miss India. So while writing a screenplay, any screenplay guru from Hollywood or from Bollywood or from a Telugu cinema, anybody asks you to put conflict into picture. Suppose, let's say we are making a film on a guy who wants to become an engineer. So he just can't become an engineer. There needs to be some conflict. There needs to be some struggle. There needs to be failure in every bit of the journey. Only then the journey will be interesting. So when I just entered here, I saw the stage. It looked very interesting to me. The design or how this graph was put. They could have put just a 45-degree line, but that would have been interesting. This has a graph. It started with a low, it went a bit high, it went low, again it eventually ended up there. That made, I feel, that makes it more interesting, and the red arrows are the mascot of your journey, I mean of your learning process. So that's what I felt when I saw this. And then I never believed in the concept of feeling envious, seeing anything, but then seeing you all students, this is the most golden, invaluable phase of our lives. So there is a bit of feeling which is little close to envy while seeing you all, because a student has the capacity, capability and possibility to do anything in your life. So you are at a driving seat, I mean you can do whatever you want with your life. So what I feel overall, understanding, I mean being a student like you in VIT and standing here right now, what I feel is success and failure are just images on your mind. So there is no success, there is no failure, it's a relative term. So let's say your goal was to study in VIT. Once you enter into VIT, your goal is achieved. What is the next goal? Achieving 8 GPA. And then what is the next goal? Achieving a good job. What after that? Getting married. So this is a continuous process. What you need to understand is you need to enjoy the process, and in the process you always need to be a student. You need to learn everything as much as possible and just trust the process. So eventually results will follow. That's what Mahabharata also says. So that is my experience. I wanted to keep it abstract, and then I wanted to keep it as realistic as possible. So guys, you are in the golden phase of your lives. Treat it with the biggest respect and with utmost planning. I think you all will achieve great results as well. Thank you.